Hi, this is Zara DeGray. Today I will be presenting a recruitment strategy for Susan Landry's Algonquin College course, HRM4111, Recruitment and Selection. In this presentation, I will provide an introduction, an overview of our current recruitment strategy, the importance of brand development and how we can start building our own, barriers we face today, as well as tasks and tactics to overcome them, a proposal for a new recruitment strategy, and finally, how we can communicate next steps to the rest of our team. Firstly, I want to acknowledge and congratulate us all on our company's growth over the past 5 years. This success is something to be proud of. It shows everyone's dedication to our brand and the value we place on our mission. Now, with great growth comes great responsibilities. Our current recruitment strategy is no longer meeting our standards, but most importantly, it's not meeting the standards of potential candidates. My goal during this presentation will be to highlight gaps in our current strategy and how we as a team can navigate them. Direct from our company handbook, we state the following two key concepts. Firstly, in order for a strategy to be successful, it must be properly implemented. Clearly communicating the strategy and ensuring people are assigned specific accountabilities for executing a recruitment strategy is critical. This is a concept heavily supported by instrategyhq.com. Our goal here will be to avoid pitfalls by taking ownership and accountability of our plan, effectively communicating with all staff, and lastly here, it'll be important to create meaning and empower from within. This concept is essentially our company's way of reminding us about the importance of empowering our team, continually motivating them, and offering everyone a sense of worth, that we are a collaborative space. Our second key concept states that every person in the organization is a recruiter. This isn't just a function of management. We see support for this concept from thebalancecareers.com. The new system will ultimately have to stand on its own feet, but every new system needs support and nurture. In other words, we need full executive support. This is shown by upper management when you show up to meetings like this, to learn about what changes need to be made and to show your human element, that regardless of your position in the company, anyone and everyone is subject to adapt. Again, effective communication is most important in any case. I would say the presence of nonverbal communication is especially important. As mentioned in my point above, physical presence and accountability speaks volumes. Workshops are an excellent way to not only encourage employee involvement, but also gather feedback internally to implement on a larger scale. Who would know the ins and outs of the business other than the people who are exposed to them on a daily basis? It will be absolutely crucial to include the suggestions of our staff following our next steps. I hope to carry these two concepts with us throughout not only this presentation, but beyond. Right now, we rely heavily on word of mouth. In fact, this is our only source of hiring. While this has worked in the past, it no longer supports the needs of our growing business. Yes, it produces trusted referrals and a quick and easy hiring process, but we open the door to biases by limiting the people we consider for a role, lack of diversity by only considering those who have a connection to us, and we also risk employee work-life balance by excessively inviting personal relationships into a professional setting. Now let's talk about branding ourselves. As a growing business, it is not enough for us to simply exist. We have to build a persona, create a following, and gather community recognition. We need people to notice us and want to work with us because of our values, good work ethic, and our culture and diversity. Essentially, we want to be a successful business, of course, but we want our community to see value in us. Another item pulled from our company handbook states that a negative employer brand can be very damaging to any organization. However, knowing this and researching some statistics, we find that there is a gap between this understanding and reality. In fact, studies show that 57% of potential job candidates actively avoided working for companies that had negative reviews online. Interestingly, in the same studies, it was suggested that 1 of 3 managers didn't see importance in their online personas at all. And finally, only 34% of HR managers agreed that online ratings were important. Disappointing and uncanny, considering even the best of us look online to purchase or experience anything virtually. Knowing what we know now, let's show some humility and make a change by acknowledging our mistakes and show that we are determined to do better. We can safely assume that a candidate has come to us with a fair opinion of the company based on what they have learned online. We can change these preconceived notions by owning our faults and not taking others' experiences personally, rather professionally. Investigate claims, review internal processes, and talk to your peers. We can tailor the interview process to address online concerns and demonstrate the change. We can create a culture worth showing off. We can communicate often and honestly, and always accept feedback as a growth opportunity and monitor online reviews. Simple changes can give people other perspectives on the business and open the doors for renewed opinions. The purpose of this presentation is to strategize ways to improve. I have identified 3 barriers that are holding us back, followed up with tasks and tactics to help us improve. First off, our only recruitment strategy, one that isn't cutting it any longer, the word of mouth method. Our task here will be to get creative and look for top talent in multiple media. This includes posts on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We can achieve this by getting out there with business cards and drafting creative and exciting job postings. This will encourage more attention and give us the opportunity to hire for quality, talent, and experience versus a personal connection that may not have the qualities we desire. Secondly, we are at risk of, or already in the midst of, a talent shortage and high turnover rates, as well as a damaged company reputation. We will need to avoid fatiguing our staff and driving them away by hiring quality candidates by posting accurate job descriptions. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, we can gather accurate information by involving staff directly. What are we missing? What are we out of touch with? And lastly, of course, building our brand. As all companies do when they experience growth, we must build a respectable persona that makes people want to work with us. That means account creation and management, building deeper connections with staff, and investing in their happiness and the business. It means managing our budget to include marketing initiatives for business cards, letterheads, logos, slogans, signage, and so much more. So how do we get there? We involve every department by creating team huddles. Find out what it's like to work here straight from the source. Have everyone's thoughts come out. Like, where do we see the company in 5 years? What roles do we know or predict that we'll need in the future? What is our culture like? Where can we make improvements? Where are we excelling? Of course, we develop a brand. As mentioned, we need to carve out a marketing budget and develop appropriate signage, logos, slogans, social media, and more. We need to do our research and really understand our community. Who do we want to attract? How should we go about conducting business in the future? And finally, we need to be active in posting accurate job postings that are shareable across the board. In terms of mitigating risks, we should absolutely continue to monitor our online image. Reply to feedback, especially negative feedback, with kindness and concern. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. Let's show what our intentions are so that we can open the doors for better and sound judgments. There's also work to be done internally. Make a habit of following up, having one-on-ones, maintaining monthly meetings. Communication is a strong way to avoid mishaps. Our last, but certainly not least course of action is to communicate our plan to the rest of the team. In the beginning of this presentation, I highlighted key concepts directly from our company handbook. They are essentially our company's promise to our team of togetherness. We have to be on the same page. We have to hear each other out. And we have to make changes where changes are needed. Once we establish and assign owners, we move on to scheduling our changes and setting deadlines. We will have frequent meetings and follow-ups to ensure our progress is positive and any shortcomings or missed concerns are addressed. We then start training or initiating changes and develop workshops to ensure everyone is working together and that the change is understood. We must maintain transparency. As we know, change is hard. All of this will open the doors to collaboration, excite the team on the changes to come, and really strengthen our company's values and mission. And that's all I have for today. Feel free to look up any links and research further. Thank you so much.